A parasagittal plane is going to run parallel to a mid-sagittal, so it's going to be in the same direction, just slightly off-centered. And what a parasagittal plane is going to do is it's going to divide the body into an unequal left and right half. Our next one is called a frontal or coronal plane. That word coronal just means crown. And what it's going to do is it's going to divide the body into a front and back, or better words now that we've learned them, is an anterior and posterior half. Transverse, also called a cross section, is going to run horizontally, and it's going to just divide the body into a superior and inferior half. So as we take a look here, this middle one is where we're going to start. This is the direction that a mid-sagittal plane is going to divide the body into. So right down that midline. What we are missing, we'll go ahead and label this MS for mid-sagittal. What we are missing is a parasagittal on our examples here. So let's just go ahead and draw it. A parasagittal is just going to run the same direction, just slightly off-centered like so. So it's only going to divide the body into an unequal left and right half. Over here, this is a coronal section. So you can see it divides the body into an anterior and posterior portion. So we'll go ahead and label that one with a frontal. And then over here we have our transverse. And you can see it divides the body into a superior and inferior. So let's work on another example here of these planes of reference. A blank section through the body would divide the body into two halves in which each half is going to have a paired organ. So the best plane that would do that would be a mid-sagittal going right through the middle. So that way the left and the right half would each have a paired organ. There are also specific words for specific body regions, and we'll work through a few of these here. The first one, cranial, is just going to be referring to the skull. Orbital is going to be referring to the eye. Thoracic is going to be referring to the thorax or the chest region. Axillary is going to be the armpit region. Antecubital is going to be the front or the bend of the elbow. So usually where you get blood drawn on the front of your elbow there, that is called the antecubital fossa. So the antecubital region is just that exact area there. The popliteal region is the back of the knee or where it bends. Plantar is going to be the sole or the bottom of the foot. Brachial is going to be the upper arm, so above the elbow, kind of where the bicep is found. That's called your brachial region. The femoral region is where the thigh is. And then the sural is going to be the calf region. We're also going to work through some skeletal system terminology. So what skeletal system terminology is referring to are specific features or parts of a bone. And first off, we have articulation. And what an articulation is it's a joint or where two bones come together, and they can come together either directly or whether they're separated by a little bit of fluid or some form of cartilage. That's what an articulation is. A process is going to be any bump or projection that's found on a bone. A condyle is going to be a smooth, rounded, articular process. So let's break that down. What does that mean? So process, again, being any kind of bump on a bone. It's a smooth and round bump, and it's also articular, meaning this is a smooth, rounded bump on a bone that's going to form a joint or touch another bone. A facet is going to be a small, flat, articular surface. So again, this is just going to be a really small, smooth, flat area where a bone's going to touch another bone. A foramen is going to be a rounded passageway, so it's going to be a hole specifically for blood vessels and nerves to be able to travel through. A fossa is just going to be a shallow depression in a bone.